Good morning. I am Devananda Meshram, Assistant Professor, RMD SSOE, Pune. Under the Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, UGC, Human Resource Development Center, Aurangabad, has conducted an online refresher course on Foundation of Data Science from 23/10/2023 to 6/11/2023, and my roll number is 10. Today, I'm going to deliver a speech on data science topic. Here is the content. So I'm going to use some basic introductory part of the data science, then introductory part of the AI versus ML, then types of ML, then machine learning algorithms, and some applications. I have used the deep learning book by Ian Goodfellow. As we know that the traditional programming language, in the case of traditional programming language, the programmer have to provide the input data and do the program. According to that, the compiler or interpreter have to convert it into the machine code language and give the desired output. Here, we know that the traditional programming. So in the traditional programming, human involvement is always mandatory. But in the machine learning, again, for the machine learning, provide the input data and have a output, what we have to expected it. And according to that, we have to get the program. So without the human intervention, the machine learning have to identify the problem statement and get the desired result. So therefore, we consider here the introductory part. Another example is that, as we know, to consider here, says that we have to move from Pune to Delhi. Okay, now we have the task. The task is to move from Pune to Delhi, and we have the different type of approaches. From Pune to Delhi, we have to travel by air. Then from Pune to Delhi, we have to travel by car, or we have to travel from Pune to Delhi by train, etc., etc. Okay, so we have the different approaches, and according to the different approaches, we have to do it to reach the desired destination according to the situation. So which type of approach we need to follow to reach the destinations. Okay, so here we consider the task. So my task is Pune to Delhi, and what we have to perform? We have to perform the anyway, either by air, by train, or by car, or by bus. So therefore, the performance have to be improving with the help of performance of the task. So here we say that the learning process have to be involved by improving the some class of the task. With the help of that some class of the task, we have to learn from experience, and again we have to evaluate it in the terms of performance measures. So for example, learn to play a checkers. So the checkers having a task T, and that have to be play check. Okay, so we consider here task is playing checkers. Based on the experience, the playing against itself or playing against opponent, they have to execute the task, and after that it will have to get the performance. So that performance is in the percent of game won or percent of game loss. Okay, but here we consider only the percentage of game won is considered the performance. Now, here we say that the performance for specific tasks. So we consider here the the task like a transcription and a classification. We often measure the accuracy of the model. So we have to create the such type of model. That model have to be perform it, and we'll get the correct output. So in the case of that performance measures, we use the accuracy. And what is meant by accuracy? The accuracy is nothing but the proportion of the examples for which the model produces the correct output. Again, to use the accuracy, it may have the some error rate. So what do you mean by error rate? Again, we say that the proportion of examples for which the model produces incorrect output. So how that performance is occurred, it requires some data. And so what is meant by data? It is nothing but the collection of informations, and that information is having a two set. One is that training set data, and another is testing set data. The model is trained using the training set data, and performance is assessed by using the test set data. So with the help of this data, either training set data or test set data, the deciding the performance measure is not always very straightforward. Okay. Another terminology is experience. So as we know that the unsupervised learning algorithm have to be provided the experience based on the data set, and the data set have to be containing the many features. Then the learn useful properties of the structure of the data set. That is, we have to say that again, anomaly detection, denoising, etc. Okay, so based on that learning of the probability distribution by observing the several type of examples of a random vector X. In a supervised learning algorithm, experience a data set containing the features, but each example is also associated with the label of targeted. So as we know the differentiation between supervised learning and unsupervised learning. In unsupervised learning, the experience based on the data set containing many more features. But in a supervised learning, the experience of the data set containing features, but each example is also associated with the help of label or target. So in short, we say that in a unsupervised learning, there is no label or no target. In a supervised learning, there is a label or target of the data. So by observing this type of examples, we have to consider the random vector X, and it is an associated with the value or vector Y. Then we have to estimating that the probability of Y of X. So we have to use, or we have to conclude that the basket analysis. So we consider that the probability of Y of X means it has to be considered as who buys the value, who buys the X, also buys the Y. Good. So where that X and Y are the products or services. As in the case of mall, if we buy some amount of sugar, then obviously we have to buy the some amount of teas also, or some amount of biscuit also. So there is some type of basket analysis. Another introductory part we have to consider here, the differentiation between AI and ML. As we know that the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So artificial intelligence is a very vast topic, and this machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. So it is a process wherein we create some kind of applications in which it will be able to do its task without any human intervention. Okay, the person need not monitor to perform the task. So therefore, the artificial intelligence will able to take the decision, will have to perform the task, and many more things. For example, we say that the Netflix is the example of artificial intelligence. Amazon also example of artificial intelligence. Self-driving car is also the example of artificial intelligence. Okay. Now, machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. So in the case machine learning, it has to be provided the statistics tools or techniques to analyze, visualize the data as well as to do the predictions and forecasting. Then we have to discuss about the types of machine learning. As we discussed earlier slide, having the introductory part and some basic and advanced basic of the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So here we consider the types of machine learning. Uh, in a slide, having supervised learning method, semi-supervised learning method, reinforcement learning method, unsupervised learning method. So these all are the types of machine learning. In a supervised learning, the labels are provided. Therefore, there is a strong learning signals. For example, we can consider here a supervised learning. The have to be utilized the classification algorithm, regression algorithm are considered as the supervised learning method. Semi-supervised learning method, only the part of data that have a label. For example, we consider here in a semi-supervised learning method, child growing up. Okay, so according to the child height, it has to be grow up. So with the help of that semi-supervised learning, we have to use the some amount of or some part of the data have label. Reinforcement learning method, the learning signals is one of the type of scalar, or we can say that it is the type of reward and it may come with the help of some delay. That is reinforcement learning method. For example, we say that trying to learn a play chess, a mouse in a maze, etc., etc. In a unsupervised learning method, in the case of unsupervised learning method, there is no direct learning signals. So we are simply trying to find out the structures in a data. For example, we consider here the clustering algorithm, then dimensionality reduction algorithm, and many more. Okay, so say that here the supervised learning method. As we know that the types of machine learning, so we consider the supervised learning. So in the case of supervised learning, the labels of the data are provided and there is a strong learning signals. For example, regression or predict the numerical values. For example, we say that the prices of used car, and we consider here X is the one of the type of car attribute and Y is the price. So according to that, the how many facilities having a car, as per the facility of the car, the owner of the car have to be decided the price. Clear that? So that's why we say that here we have to create the model that is y is equal to g of x comma theta. So in the case of that where that g is the model and theta is the parameter. Another example is we say that of the supervised learning method, age and weight. So according to the age of the human, the weight have to be increased. Okay, so for example, if the human having 21 age and that human have the 55 weight, uh, again human having 24 weight, 24 age, so that 24 age human having 60 weight. So according to that, the each labels have to be provided. Another we say that another examples, if the student try to appear for the examination and we will have to identify whether that student is going to pass or fail. Okay, so it depends on the student activity, how many hours that student have to be studied, how many hours that student have to be play, how many hours that student have to be sleep. Okay, and based on that, we have to conclude whether the student is going to score in the examination or pass or fail in the examination. Okay, that is the another type of means say that the another example of supervised learning. Third example, we have said that the credit card scoring. So as we know that we are all are using the credit card, so we have to differentiate between the low risk and high risk. Okay, so when we have to suppose some of the bank provided the credit card to the person, and bank always identify the risk category of that person, because uh, while providing the credit card, it will have to check the score, that is credit score. Okay, so with the help of that credit scoring, it has to be make the differentiation between low risk and high risk customers for their income and saving. So here is the one of the type of discriminating we have to consider. If income greater than theta 1 and saving greater than theta 2, then consider as the low risk, else it considered as the high risk. In a unsupervised learning method, there is no direct learning signals. So we are applying, trying to find out the structure of the data. For example, clustering, that we have to say that salary and age of the employee, customer segmentations. Another is example is dimensionality reductions. So that 1,000 features have to be converted into the 100 lower dimensions. In a clustering algorithm, grouping the data according to the distances, it has to be associated, means it has to be find out the frequent co-occurrences available in the data. Then link predictions, it has to discover the relationship in a data, and data reductions, means the project features to the fewer features. Uh, it means it have to be converted the 1,000 features into the minimum requirement of the predicted output, that is converted 1,000 features into the 100 lower dimensions. As we know that in examples of the employee, okay, so that according to the age of the employee, that employee have to be getting the salary from the employer. Okay, so here in the human having the 21 age, it will get the 35,000 salary. uh, Human having 24 age, it will get the 40,000 salary. Human having 27 age, it will get the 44,000 salary, and so on. So according to that, if the new employee is coming into the organization and he or she having the 40 age, so how much salary will get? Okay, or how much salary that employer have to be provided to the concerned person. So it is nothing but the one of the type of unsupervised learning method. In a reinforcement learning method, the learning signals is, or we can say that it is the one of the type of scalar, or it is the one of the type of reward, and it may come with the some amount of delay. So for example, we say that trying to learn to play a chess or mouse in a maze. In a semi-supervised learning method, only the some amount of data have to be considered as the labels. Okay, so example is child growing up. Now we have to consider that supervised learning, semi-supervised learning, then unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. So that all are the algorithms which will be considered in a machine learning technique. Okay, so we have the different examples. So for examples of this machine learning is, we say that the Netflix is one of the type of examples of the artificial intelligence. So applications, we have to consider that the automatic product recommendation, or we can say that the automatic movie recommendation. Okay, importance is so this is the modern type of features. Okay, or we can say that the future movie prediction or future shopping. Prediction goal is based on the past performances, predict which movies or which product you might want to watch or purchase it. Have a data, that is, the data is considered as nothing but again the person have to be watch that past movies, or you have to watch, or means that it is nothing but the one of the type of recommendation. Okay. Another example is zip codes. Application is automatic zip code recognition. Importance of this application is this is the modern or future delivery of the small goods. Goal is that it has to based on the your handwritten digit, and that have to be predicted what they are use them to route a mail. Data is black and white pixel values, and target is which type of digit or which type of zip code you want to serve. Okay. So as we know that in unsupervised learning method, we have the dimensionality reductions and clustering. So in 1,000 features have to be converted into the small amount of features. That is, if 1,000 features have to be converted into the 100 features. Okay, so we don't require that 1,000 features, but based on that, we do not have to be predict, but we have to convert that 1,000 features into the 100 features. Then we can easily predict it what we want. Again, we know that the regression and classifications. So as we know that this image is represented as the regression. This image is considered as the classification. So here you have to classify the dog image, cat image, etc. Sorry. In a reinforcement learning, as you know that mouse in a maze. So here, one of the best example of reinforcement learning. So learning to play, break out each and every brick. Clustering, as you know that the crime predictions using the K-mean clustering in a world, number of cities have to be utilized as a crime. Okay, so according to the algorithm, clustering algorithm, we have to predict it which city have a major crime, which city have a minor crime, etc. Okay, so again we say that the classification, that is nearest neighbors. So for example, we consider here, imagine you want to classify either monkey or versus man. So for that classification, we require the 1,000 images of the monkey and 2,000 images of the humans. Or we have to simply say that as per the slide, we say that 100 monkey images and 200 human images with the labels. Okay, and according to that label, the task is that we have to provide the new image, and the machine have to identify whether that image is in the part of monkey or is in the part of human image. Okay. Then nearest neighbor, the idea behind the nearest neighbor is to find the picture in the database which is closest to your query, and check it that label and declare the class of your query image to be the same as that of the closest picture. So as you have to see in a presentation, the query is human being, okay, with open mouth. So from the data set, the artificial intelligence have to identify the closest image, okay, and we will get the result. Then so many regressions algorithms are available, that is ridge regression, support vector machine, random forest, multi-layer neural network, deep neural networks, and many more. Classification, so many classification algorithms are considered, that is naive Bayes, support vector machines, random forest, multi-layer neural network, deep neural network, and many more. Again, clustering, so many clustering algorithms also have, that is K-means clustering algorithm, hierarchical clustering algorithm, and many more. Here we say that the number of applications in a world have to be utilized by the artificial intelligence and machine learning technique. Okay, so the applications of machine learning in a biology, machine learning applications in earth observations, machine learning applications for molecular and material sciences, machine learning applications in mediclinical chemistry, and many more applications available in the world. Okay, so as we know that here we have to consider the pre-programmed rules might give the poor performance, that is difficulties in analytical specifying the system and dimensionality of the problems is prohibited. Okay, so this is up to the end. Thank you.